Hello and welcome to Experience Fulton the Podcast. I'm Regina Waller, Division Manager, Communications and External Affairs for Fulton County. This podcast will not only provide you with information regarding the services and products that Fulton County has to offer, but we'll give you a close-up look into the department and the people who bring you those services. On location at the Big Creek Water Treatment Plant here in Fulton County, in fact, serving Alpharetta, Roswell, also parts of Milton and Johns Creek. This facility, or I should say award-winning facility, has 32 million gallons of water a day that it treats. And this plant is an award-winning plant because of the recent awards, 8 awards that Fulton County has received in recognition of the design of the plant and also the innovative technology. So Fulton County is committed and dedicated to providing quality water service to those in Fulton County. To learn more about Big Creek as well as the Public Works Department, check out our website, www.fultoncountyga.gov. Welcome to Experience Fulton the Podcast, and guess what? We outside with this episode. In fact, I'm Regina Waller, here to bring you to the Fulton County Big Creek Water Treatment Plant. Many of you may know that this plant serves Roswell, also Alpharetta, and parts of Milton and Johns Creek. But this is more than just a water treatment plant. This is a place where Fulton County works to make sure that we provide quality water and quality water services to those who are served from this plant. And I'd like to introduce you to Mr. David Clark, our Director of the Fulton County Department of Public Works. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure to be here.
So Mr. Clark is going to give us a little bit of background about the plant. Just tell us about what we see out here right now.
Sure. This plant has actually been, or this site has been some sort of wastewater treatment plant since 1971. So the first plant here treated a little under 1 million gallons a day. The current plant treats up to 32 million gallons a day. And it takes the wastewater from, as you said earlier, Johns Creek, Alpharetta, Roswell, Milton, and treats it here and then discharges it into the Chattahoochee River at a cleaner rate than what's in the Chattahoochee itself. In fact, if you ever go online to an aerial photograph of this area, you can actually see the plume of clean water leaving this plant into the Chattahoochee River.
And so one thing that we have done here, you have led the charge to create a facility that is just so innovative in that, to the point where you all have recently received 8 awards, so congratulations on that, on the design of the plant and here the operations. Would you say that this is a clear indication of the dedication and commitment of Public Works?
Oh, I think so, and I also think on a larger scale, it shows the commitment of Fulton County. Johns Creek Environmental Campus was our first, I would say, really innovative plant that was constructed in 2008. At the time that was constructed, it was the largest membrane wastewater treatment plant in North America at 15 million gallons a day. Mm-hmm. This plant at 32 million gallons a day is the second largest in North America for membranes. And membrane treatment is so important because it is right now the most effective way of cleaning our wastewater and protecting our downstream neighbors. And that's so important, especially at Big Creek here, because literally less than 2 miles downstream is the main intake for Cobb County for their drinking water. So the water that we're discharging into the river right now is being picked up for Cobb County for their drinking water needs. So that's why I think Fulton County really is a great environmental steward and protects the river as a resource for all of our use, not just for Fulton County's use.
After the several renovations and the opening of different buildings, we had a ribbon cutting here in Fulton County back in 2024 for this particular facility. But a lot went into building this award-winning plant, would you say?
It was. We started in 2017. It took about 2 years to design and a little over 4.5 years to construct. It was a great team approach, not only from the various individuals in Fulton County, but the design build team, which was a joint venture between Archer Wester as the contractor and Brown and Caldwell as the engineering design partner, really stuck with this every step of the way, like all construction projects, not everything went completely smooth. We had a couple hiccups along the way. We had COVID, which was a major hiccup. But all through COVID and the separation, the plant continued to be constructed. We continued to operate the existing plant. And so when a lot of people were at home, this plant and this site was full operations.
So we talk about, the design of the plant, and that is one of the reasons for the awards. Can you tell us about the trip to Washington recently to be recognized?
Yep. As you said, we've gotten 8 awards altogether. There was a variety of, some of them were engineering-based, some of them were design-based, some of them were construction-based. The one that we just recently got, I think, is one of the more prestigious awards. It was awarded by a Academy of Environmental Engineers and Scientists. Mm-hmm. That's a national organization, and they recognize the environmental work that went into the design of the plants, and we were one of 3 wastewater treatment plants that was awarded the award for design excellence.
And so basically being recognized on a national level and, probably international level as well, I would say that this facility would be one that others around the country who are, looking at wastewater treatment plants or looking to renovate, they would look to you all for guidance, I would say.
They do. And in fact, we probably average 2 to 3 tours a month for other communities who are thinking about wastewater treatment plants. Just recently, Columbus, Georgia, came and spent the day because they're now building a plant or designing a plant, and they wanted to see the things that we did. And so we've seen that. We've had some international people from Canada come down. Mm-hmm. So we expect this to continue to be a highlight of Fulton County.
Excellent. So how do you cultivate a culture where, operators take immense pride in what they do in the work here instead of just looking at this as being a job?
That's a great question. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a job. But what I think Fulton County does extremely well is we take it a step further. I try to make sure that all of the staff understand how their piece fits into a much larger puzzle. And nobody can run a department by themselves. We have 250 employees in Public Works, and every single one of them has a very specific job. And the reason why we're so successful is everybody not only understands their job, but they also understand how that fits into the idea of what Public Works should be and what it means to Fulton County.
Okay. And we cannot leave this conversation without talking about what a high priority safety is here in the plant. So with this facility, how do you keep safety at the top of the list, top of mind for those who do work here?
The main way we do it, we start every meeting with a safety moment. And sometimes it's about safety at the plant itself. Sometimes it's just safety in general. We had one recently about pollen because spring certainly impacts people. We have defensive driving topics. So everything that we do, we start with understanding the importance of safety. Yes. And that just continues to be, hammered home to all employees.
Well, Mr. Clark, thank you so much for joining us. David Clark, the Director of Public Works here in Fulton County, and we are on location at the Big Creek Water Treatment Plant. Thank you for giving us an inside look and also talking to us about the national recognitions.
My pleasure, anytime.
Experience Fulton the Podcast, still on location at the Fulton County Big Creek Water Treatment Plant. We're bringing our viewers and our listeners in to get a close-up look at this great facility. And we have with us today Mr. Walter Recook, who is the construction project manager, who helped get this wonderful plant up and running. More than $350 million investment in getting this plant renovated, up in operations. Tell us about your role in the operations or developing this plant.
Sure. The biggest thing I think was basically we had an existing plant that we had to keep operating at the same time we were trying to construct a new plant. So that was a very critical portion of our whole project, is to make sure that we didn't compromise any of the construction during this process. So we always had to make sure that we kept these facilities up and running. And in many cases, it was very difficult because it was a very old plant, and some of the things did break down, and we had to help out if we could with our contractor. The major thing, of course, was trying to get our areas leveled out and ready for placement of the different buildings. We had a major operation of clearing certain areas. In fact, to my back area back here, we had huge mounds of bad soils and such that we had to basically level off and grade. We also had some problems that being so close to the Chattahoochee River, we had to do certain borings to basically make sure that we had enough bearing on the soil. So we had to put a number of pilings in the ground to support all these different buildings that you see around us to make sure that they didn't happen to sink. So that was a very important part of the initial part of the project. And then once we got all those piers set, then we were able to go to the next phase and actually start building the different buildings.
So regarding building the different buildings, what did you guys do? How did you all take it from the drawing board and make it happen?
Sure. Well, I have to compliment really the operations team and David and his team to come up with this as a design-build project. So basically, we had a general concept of what we believed we were going to build. But at the same time, the designer, as well as the team from Fulton County, pulled together to determine exactly what type of equipment, what type of facility, what type of process we're going to go through. So majority of the things were worked on for a number of years to get to the point where we understood exactly what we were going to build. And even during the construction process, some things we knew that would potentially come up to be an issue, but we were able to solve those problems very quickly and understand where we had to make improvements.
So in making improvements and working on this plant to get it up and operational.
That's correct.
You guys, this plant serves Roswell, Alpharetta, and parts of Milton and Johns Creek. What can residents expect when it comes to the type of service that is provided from this facility?
Well, the biggest thing, of course, is the treatment of the water and what it goes back into the Chattahoochee River. So the biggest thing, of course, is taking all the waste from all these different communities and processing it. But not just processing it, but doing a very good job in actually lessening the solid load going into the Chattahoochee River. I believe it's 50% less than what it was previously. The other thing is, if you just look around or perhaps smell the air, that this used to have a connotation of being a stinky Kroger, is what they used to refer to it as. And right now, can you tell me, what do you hear? What do you smell in the air?
Not a thing, not a thing.
Well, we sure made our residents joining us in Inverness as well as in Cobb County much happier by having this facility in place. And then for that matter, even the noise and a number of other elements make it much better. But the biggest thing is really improving the water quality for the Chattahoochee River.
So from 24 million gallons a day to 32 million gallons a day, that's what this facility does.
That's correct. And that was through the Metropolitan River Protection Group that decided what we needed to look at for future expansion.
All right. So, Mr. Walter Recook, we want to thank you for joining us and giving us an inside look into the Big Creek Water Treatment Plant. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you.